Hopefully, I can keep an eye on my eggs in my dirty kitchen at the moment and also make this video. I was just thinking a little bit about my history, and I've like kind of said things that I really haven't explained, but at the same time, I don't really want to go into them really too far because there's just a lot that average people just will not understand all. But um I'll just start by saying the charges against me are complete bullshit. I don't want to go into too much detail about them. I really can't legally, but I will say that it was bullshit. It was a situation where I was extremely aware that when I was attempting to use social media to try to be a whistleblower and expose certain things about a business, my I was put in a get like a virtual cage where they control who sees my my everything I write. Even if my messages get sent to my mom, they control whether or not that was happening. And I knew the situation was happening, but at the same time, I was also hit with. Sorry, I got my eggs. I was also hit with mental illness, and I said some things that did not make sense, and it made it difficult for people to believe me. And well, the things that I were putting on the internet were being altered, so I really just didn't have the ability to do anything. And when I realized the situation was happening, I attempted to call the police, and they would not listen to anything I said. And I could tell by the way that they were talking to me that their goal was only to get evidence against me. Um, and like spying on your stuff, controlling and stuff like that. Yeah, that's like that. But they can do things a lot worse than that. They literally have the power to take control of your device. They could talk to you through it, make you feel like someone is there, that like spiritual, or they can literally control your life through your phone. Whether you get opportunities or not, they can cancel you and put you in the spotlight in an instant. And it's terrifying. These people, these fucking crazy redneck Republicans that have been fed this conspiracy theory that the government is under control by some kind of group like the Illuminati. It's kind of like a flip around of like what I actually see. The reality is that they're like painting their enemies as the thing that they are, like trying to get someone to blame for the bad things that are going to be happening in their country while they seize power. And that's exactly what I believe is happening here, is that this is like a lost cause attempt to take over the country. The people that from the lost the Civil War, the Confederates, this is their attempt to retake control of our nation again. And you can certainly see the intent in like the way they're treating immigrants and all sorts of things. It's absolutely horrible. Anyway, this is kind of off topic, not too much about my story. But anyway, while I'm also dealing with active problems like that, I'm also being harassed. And anyway, long story short, eventually I got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I called to the FBI and I filed a complaint, and I guess whatever happened, they were whatever place I called must have been mega supporters, because they left me hanging. They didn't help me, and a call that I said I didn't want to be hurt anymore, and I was scared of them. of what they were going to do, and I just wanted to be left alone and be a good person that would help the world. And that call that I made to them, that I just wanted to be left alone, is what they used as a violation of the restraining order to put me in in the legal system. And some crap happened with my father that he was an asshole. Basically said that we were going to use a public defender to just do legwork, such as gather evidence, and then we were going to hire a real lawyer. And anyway, he talked to the lawyer, and instead of talking about doing legwork, he decided to have me evaluated for a competency. And I eventually did test, and well, they said I was incompetent. The conversation wasn't really recorded, but they said I was incompetent, which was completely false because I did completely understand the system. The only thing that showed incompetency was the fact that I did not want to trust my public defender, and that was only because of the conversation with my father about what we were going to do prior. It made me feel uncomfortable, and I have learned about public defenders that they are not any good. You know, like even cops will joke and say, hey, this is my lawyer. They think it's funny that people get public defenders. They essentially just let the fucking state win. It's bullshit. Anyway, I ended up in Mendota Mental Health Institute for competency, and that was I just want to say that's a horrible place. You know, they horribly underfeed people that are within this like in between area where you're kind of tall but still not big enough to be like 7 feet and get double portions, but they'll give you like maybe a little extra vegetables once in a while. You don't get enough food, and people are just so ungodly mean. You know, if you say anything that would like point them out to be a bad person, all of a sudden they're going to conspire against you and fuck you over and get you in a situation where you're locked in your room for 3 days. And you know, that happened to me a couple times where they were just, I pointed out something that they did wrong and they went out. Eventually I learned how to make friends with the better people there, and then I could control the assholes and they couldn't do that kind of shit to me. And I also made friends with pretty much just everyone there. You know, no one had a problem with me, and no one had a thing to say against me except for the assholes, so they can do shit. And anyway, I got the fuck out of there, but it was an evil fucking place. You know, I met a lot of people, and I was actually friends with a fucking, I don't really want to say anything too negative about him. He sees the situation differently. However, after getting out and learning about his case, I certainly think that he actually probably maybe had like a blackout and did something that he doesn't really kind of remember, like a split personality type deal or something. But Jacob Kerr, I was actually friends with him, and he was a person that was involved in a double homicide. So I met a lot of people, and it was a horrible place, but I got out. And as far as like the the things that have happened to me that have led me from being like spiritually religious all the way to, you know, believing in aliens, I don't want to really get into too much. But I have experienced a lot. And I think I should just leave it at that.